I'm Brent Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Benekiva.
So we typically do this on Fridays, but because Christmas and Christmas Eve is on Friday, we've decided to do it today and really talk about, just some happy stories and good reflection for the year. Yeah. So Brent, would you like to go first?
Yeah, it's my happy story is we were recently with a partner of ours doing some collaboration on some potential future items we'll be working on in 2022. And what was interesting was this partner shared with us that every time they bring Benekiva to a client meeting and Benekiva gives a demo, the client is simply wowed. And they said, Benekiva is a wow factor when we bring them to the table. And I just was really joyful about that, because we talk about inside Benekiva, one of our core values. I think it's number one. I think our number one core value is deliver wow. And so it was really cool to hear, one of our partners talk about Benekiva in that light, because obviously we don't talk to them about, our delivering wow, but yet that's what they say when they see our platform and speak to our people and have our teams involved, and they just say Benekiva is a wow factor. And I was like, that's just so awesome. So that made me pretty happy. It's really cool to see that the core values that we all came up with are showing through, in our day-to-day operations and how we do business, how we conduct business. We've always been this company that we're not going to be in the marketplace telling you we can do everything for everybody. We are claims, servicing, and retention of assets. And we've been that since day one. And, we know there's some other vendors in the marketplace that say they do everything. But then when it comes down to it, they don't. And we simply do not want to be that company. When we tell you we can do something, we do it. So it made me pretty happy.
I know this week we had an incident where we heard from somebody that we were serving, or we were going to enhance the claims experience, that another vendor who probably doesn't even know how to spell claims shared that and it was just a puzzle. But I've been in tech for 20 years. And honestly, and I've bought solutions, right? I've been on the other side where I've evaluated companies. And when companies say they can do something, and when you don't deliver, your brand hurts. Yeah. And guess what? I have a huge network of technical people, technical buyers, higher up in the organization. Guess what? That people like me will make sure that gets told, right? I'm not one of those people that when I've had to fire vendors because they've made a commitment. They kind of showed a vaporware solution. And at the end of the day, there's nothing. And when you fire them, guess what? My networks are the CTOs, the CIOs, the technology managers. Guess what's going to happen? You're not getting business. You just put bad taste. And I'm one person, right? But that's a network effect, right? That's a network effect and honestly, coming from tech, we have a moral responsibility. I mean, I live with high ethics, high integrity. And to me, that type of behavior is, what's the word that you said 2 days ago? Some type of a sales tactic. It's
bait and switch. I mean, that's literally what it is. You tell a company that you can do something, and then they sign a contract with you. Now they're locked into a contract. They spend millions of dollars with you. So they get so far down a project, they've got so much money invested that they can't turn back. They can't, exit, because people will lose jobs, and that's the thing that really bugs me is, these companies are out there saying, hey, we can do all this. We can do this. We can do this. We can do that. And then they get into the the weeds with those folks, and 2 years later, you don't have a solution. You've got millions of dollars spent and still no solution. But yet you've got 2 years invested and millions of dollars spent. So what's your choice?
Yeah.
You can exit the contract and people lose their jobs, or you just fight through it,
Yeah.
and spend more money and more time until you get it to the finish line. And it's just something that needs to change in our industry. I mean, it's we're talking to a prospect right now that we talked to back in 2019, and back then they were 3 years into a claims implementation. Today, they finally had the claims solution implemented. 5 years later, over $50 million, and it still doesn't do what they want it to do. You're like, my gosh, people, what? It's just insane.
So that news created a wrinkle, right? Like that put a sour taste in my mouth. But guess what? I think that made me even more strong into our core beliefs, core values. We're gonna do the right thing. We're not, those companies can do whatever they want to.
Say whatever they want.
Let them, to be honest with you, that short-term thinking, I think all of us at Benekiva have a long-term thinking, and best wishes, because we're going to move on to the next one and the next one, and let them, the only thing is, to the decision makers that are listening to this message, this is why we oftentimes talk about proof of concept or proof of value. That becomes important. And don't pick the easy product. Like I see that a lot in the admin side of the world, like where people are like, I can sell you an admin system, and then they put a term product, and I'm like, get them to put like a complex product. Let's see if they're made of. Like, do that evaluation, but do it right? Don't pick an easy one. Same thing with claims. Pick a contestable claim.
Yeah.
See how they can handle that. Do they even know what contestable rules are, right? Pick that, right? But you have to do that. You have to test these vendors. I don't care how long they've been, how stable they are, how large they are. Everybody does that bait and switch sales tactic. And it really is not, it's part of life. It's part of being in this industry when you're a technology solution provider. But as a decision maker, do the proof of concept. Make sure in their assessment, they are showing you that they heard you, as well as how does the future, not just in words, have they done a process map? Have they given you a roadmap? Do they really, truly understand what you're wanting? And that is, in our world, we do that as part of our discovery assessment process. Very, very tiny cost, but it gives you the confidence. And I would recommend that to other carriers that are decision makers, whether you're in this industry or not. Do something like that, because you don't want to be stuck with a $50 million bill and be very unhappy and your team hates you.
Yeah. Fortunately for us, we combated that with, we're happy to do a competitive side by side with anybody on the market. I would venture to guess that they're not willing to do that. And, we got the news just this morning that they want to move forward. So it didn't affect Benekiva per se, but it did really make me think that, gosh, we've got to do a better job in this industry. Not just, at the end of the day, these companies have needs, and if those needs can be met by collaborating with multiple companies together, there's nothing wrong with that. And I just wish these companies would just be honest about what they can and cannot do. Because I would venture to guess, if you went to the carrier and said, hey, you want all this, we've proven we can do this other piece, we don't know. We're looking for a collaboration partner. We're looking for somebody to help us test that theory out. A lot of times I'll bet they'll actually help you with that, if you're just honest up front, And so many vendors, they feel like, well, if I be honest and tell them we can't do this, they're going to find someone else who can. Well, Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but at least you were honest.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, to the decision makers, these people exist. A lot of us know who they are. We kind of put a hand, like, we've got to be nice in the play a sandbox, but we know who they are. And honestly, test them out, but test them hard, test them out by
Give them
giving them a hard
actual
situation.
tests.
Yeah.
Don't give
Don't
them
give
something
them,
they can do all day and twice on Sunday.
yeah,
That's not a proof of concept or proof of value.
yeah. So to go back to the happy side, but going back to that trip that Brent and I both attended, we were doing a portion of that was also getting some of their leadership team on the operation side exposure to Benekiva. And what was very cool is you've got, these are folks that have been in claims most of their life, in operations in an insurance carrier all their careers. And one of them shared that she wishes she was back. She's like, this is so good that it almost makes me want to be a processor again. And then she's like, you guys just made my life easy with training, which is what we want, right? Like that made us so happy that, we've got a very experienced professional looking at our tool and saying, hey, you just cut 80% of my training time frame. And that, I think, when you deliver wow, on the product side, it makes us feel so happy, because that's our mission and product. We did a lot of planning this month and last month on what are we going to tackle for 2022. And on the product side, this is what makes me happy to go into next year knowing that we've got good process and amazing features that are going to really move the needle on the claim side, on the servicing side, and potentially the new business retention angle. And everything in our backlog is driven by our customers, but also looking at the macro trends of what's happening in the industry and trying to get tidbits of that and saying, how do we attach that to our roadmap starting next year? We started in 2018 that way, and look how far we've come, where our customers pushed us to do. This year, we have several examples of not just full end-to-end claims, because that was something we did 2018, 2019. We continue to do that. But this year, we have full integrated end-to-end servicing, which makes me super happy. And next year, you guys are going to hear about something that we're going to do. You guys are going to think Benekiva is, what are they thinking? Maybe smoking. But you will see some announcements earlier in the year about a package that we're building out that will really move. It's all about adding value at a very, in weeks, not in months, and definitely not years.
Absolutely. Yep. It's going to be, I keep telling the team every year, buckle up. It's going to be a crazy ride next year. And every year it's proved to be that. So it's pretty cool.
Well, we doubled in size this from last year to this year. So, and tripled our customer count. So it just shows, like, if you keep doing the right thing and keep solving real problems, this will happen. So.
And I often tell people, from our claims perspective, we don't want to be known as a simple claim solution. We want to be known as the complex claim solution. Can we process simple claims? Absolutely. All day and twice on Sunday. Heck, we got carriers processing 80% of their claims without a human being even looking at them. But that's not the really cool part. I mean, that's cool, but the really cool part is all those very highly complex claims, and we have a system that handles those. That's what's really cool.
Oh. Well, with that, not happy Friday, but happy 2021 going into 2022. And hope you guys enjoy the holiday season, get the needed rest, and rejuvenate with your family and friends. And then until 2022,
start it all over again.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.